Hello and welcome or welcome back to Meditations for the Racial Justice Journey. My name is Janet Thompson Jackson, and I'm so glad that you are joining me today. Today, the theme for our meditation is courage. And, I continue to see news reports of names that we may never know. I read about a young man who several years ago was killed because of his identity, not just a black man, but a black queer man, and died screaming and calling out saying, I will hide my identity. That's how fearful he was, and was killed because of who he was. And those names, those stories don't necessarily make the news. But I think about the people who have been so courageous lately in speaking out against the killings and the hate and fighting. And I don't necessarily like to use the word fighting. I usually use working for racial justice. But there's a fight. This is a battle. And I think about the people who inspired me to start these meditations. Tamika Mallory in Minneapolis, when I saw her speaking at a press conference, young woman with such courage. Kimberly Jones, whose video has gone viral. She's in Atlanta, and just spoke truth to power. The young high school student at the neighborhood protest that my family attended, speaking, with his voice shaking, but just allowing the courage to surface. And so I wanted to talk about courage. What is courage? I think that a lot of people may have different definitions. My definition of courage is showing up. You show up in the face of fear, in the face of criticism. It is showing up to stand behind for your convictions. And I don't think, sometimes we hear that people find courage. I don't think you find courage. I think that courage is innate in every one of us, and we can allow it to surface. And I think that sometimes it surfaces easily and beautifully, like cream floating to the top. And sometimes courage comes kicking and screaming through the mud and through the weeds, and with resistance, but we somehow allow it to surface. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters how it comes. I think that it is the point of allowing courage to surface in us when it's called to surface. Sometimes it's there for the public to see, like the cases of Tamika Mallory, Kimberly Jones, this young man, a very public event. Sometimes it's private courage. Sometimes it is private and quiet, like a young man I know who has made the courageous decision to be the primary caretaker of a loved one. No training, didn't necessarily expect to be in that position, but showed up and has stepped up. Maybe has deferred his own dreams, but has shown such tremendous courage that the world will not necessarily see. But it makes it no less significant. The origins of the word courage, the French origin is heart, and the Latin origin is love. And I just think that's beautiful, that courage, really, it means heart and love. That's where it comes from. So a courageous heart. We hear that, a courageous heart. So I also think that courage means doing it anyway. And I think about a story of an uncle of mine. We were at a kind of a memorial service, and lots of emotions because we had really memorialized a lot of people who had gone in the family, gone ahead of us. And he was supposed to sing. And he was just full of emotion. And he said, I can't. And his sister turned to him and said, do it anyway. To me, I will never forget that. That was years ago. But to me, that is the epitome of courage. It's showing up anyway, doing it anyway. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make mistakes. You're probably going to make mistakes, but it's doing it anyway. So let's settle in as we think about courage. As we think about courage and what it means for us, let's get settled in and relax a little bit. Oh, get into your comfortable seated position, or maybe you want to lay down. It's fine. And just allow your body to relax. I already have my eyes closed, so I invite you to close your eyes or to lower your gaze. And just let your eyes soften. Let your cheeks soften, and your mouth and your jaw. Let your shoulders just fall away from your ears, and your back relax. Let yourself sink into your seat. Move your feet around until you get just the perfect comfortable position for your feet and your legs. And just breathe. Know that you are breathing in. Know that you are breathing out. And just think about, how have you witnessed courage these past few months in your community, in your world? How have you witnessed courage? Just breathing. Checking your body to see if you can release just a little bit more. Let those thighs just release. Let your hands just release. How have you experienced courage in your own life in these past few months? Just breathing. Breathing in courage. Can you imagine how courage may surface, how you may allow it to surface in your own life? Is there something that you are called to be courageous to or about? Is courage calling you? What does that look like for you? Keeping your body relaxed, just checking in. Noticing any thoughts and allowing them to just fade to the background. Just focusing on both the breath and thoughts you have about courage. As I read these affirmations, I choose to show up today. My fears are not barriers to my actions. I have heart. I am love. I am enough just as I am. Courage. Allow yourself to feel that, to feel courage. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, as you keep your shoulders relaxed, as you keep your jaw relaxed, your stomach totally relaxed. Courage. Quiet courage. Strength. Heart. Love. And now taking a nice big breath in through your nose, from your belly all the way up into your chest. Oh, and out through your mouth. One more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And starting to move your wrists and your ankles, your fingers and your toes. Moving your shoulders and slowly and gently opening your eyes, bringing your attention back to the room. You know, I will never know if Tamika Mallory or Kimberly Jones will know how they inspired me to be courageous. Because for all the public speaking I do, this was out of my comfort zone. To go on Facebook Live and do meditations publicly. Out of my comfort zone. But when I saw those young people, I wanted to grab their hands and say, breathe with me. Breathe with me. Slow your breath. Let your shoulders relax. I wanted to be a rest stop for them. And so I decided to do these meditations with them particularly in mind, but for everyone who needs a rest stop, who needs a pause. And so these meditations are dedicated to all of you in whatever way courage shows up in your life, in ways that most of us will never see. Thank you. And thank you for being with me today. Until we see each other again, be well.